The following is a presentation of the Tiger Network.
Touchdown, Missouri.
Live from Buffalo Wild Wings, this is Tiger Talk, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Also brought to you by Bud Light, the perfect beer when you're up for whatever. Now, here's the voice of the Tigers, Mike Kelly.
Conference season is upon us as the Tigers get set to head to Columbia, South Carolina to take out the Gamecocks of USC. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Kelly. Mizzou head coach Gary Pinkel is alongside. We'll be with you for the next hour or so here on Tiger Talk. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings on Columbia's southwest side. Show brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, a proud partner of Mizzou Athletics. Locations near you in Joplin, Springfield, Cape Girardeau, Overland Park. Olathe, now open in Belton, Missouri. You can also shop Academy Sports Outdoors online at academy.com. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll have our Players segment brought to you by Farmland. And our two guests tonight include a senior co-captain from Denton, Texas, as Bud Sasser will join us. Coming up, also a senior linebacker from Glen St. Mary, Florida. His name is Darvin Ruise, and he'll be with us coming up at the bottom of the hour as well. Lots to talk about. Tigers on the road this week. A reminder, it is a 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. broadcast start for our network as the Tigers play at South Carolina. And the game will be televised on ESPN. Game day will be in Columbia, South Carolina. As we turn and say hi to Coach Gary Pinkel tonight. How are you tonight?
I'm okay.
The first time that Game Day did a Missouri game, I think it was maybe the Kansas game a few years ago at Arrowhead Stadium in I think, what was it, 08, 07. The one thing I learned about that appearance is how much that legitimizes the game, how much of the attention nationally gets focused just by their presence there.
And when it was here, I believe in 2010, for our Oklahoma game, which was the University of Missouri, and the presentation was absolutely remarkable, and we won the game. But there's no question about it. They make it one of the big games of the weekend. So it's good. It's exciting. Playing a good football team, but it's we're getting SEC, and it's it's fun to play in this league. Get a chance to get going.
Have a lot to talk about. Of course, Tigers coming off of a 31-27 loss at home against Indiana. You've had a couple of days now to kind of digest that. Just what stands out about that setback against the Hoosiers?
I'm still digesting.
Still digesting. I can understand that.
It's just difficult. I mean, and we got to let it go. And I have for the most part until you brought it up. And
I always like to ruin your night.
Yeah, you ruined my night. I thought we came back, thought we would win it, and we didn't, and we had opportunities, and we didn't take advantage of it, and it's both sides of the football. Our defense had did a great job beginning of the second half through an interception. Great, they were right in field goal position. You just get 2 first downs or so, they get and maybe score. They'd knock them back, and then we get no points. And so we just offensively we drove down. We got the ball at 6-yard line at about a 4-minute drive all the way down 2 minutes. Baggett kicks a pressure pack kick, which I'm really happy for him. But the bottom line at the end of the day, the offense has to outscore the defense. The defense has to make sure the other team doesn't get enough points. And we're a team. We do it together. And there's many opportunities that we had to score that could have been created at other times. So we just we have to learn, and we have to move on, and apply those learning opportunities so that we can play better next time.
I said this to you earlier, and I said it on our broadcast after you said this the first time. In your post-game show, you told Chris Gervino the most important thing right now is how you handle it, how you react to it. That'll go a long way in terms of determining what happens from this point forward. I thought that was a great statement.
Well, it's the true. It's we're all going to have adversity, and how you deal with it's the most important thing. And those are life lessons for our players.
Right.
And so bottom line is you move on, and I think for the most part the players have, and I think they should. And we got to put all our focus into this next football game, and obviously we're talking about it right now because we need to. But that's something that's really important. That won't define us. What will define us is how we deal with it.
Is it fair to say, as you've said many times, football is not a game of perfect, but it is a game of focus and attention to detail every single moment that you're on the field. you look at the things that were so uncharacteristic of your team. The number of penalties, number one. The 5 for 16 on third down. The high snaps that happened during the course of the game from Evan Boehm, which you never see from that young man. It was just little things that collectively added up.
Yeah, it was, and I was watching the same things. I think we had one false start the entire year. I think we had 5 in one game, and those are 5-yard penalties. That's Missouri beating Missouri.
Right.
And there's just a lot of little things that we weren't doing very good job at, and it's the detail. You're right. It's attention to detail of every position, focusing all the time. And there's nothing perfect about football.
Right.
There's nothing perfect. They got scholarships. They're going to make plays too. But there's discipline. There's attention to detail. There's fundamentals. There's reasons why you win and the reasons why you lose. And there's reasons why we think we call it the plan to win. And we talk to the team every single Sunday about the plan to win. And one is fewest penalties. Mm-hmm. And guess what? We've won that all year. This year we lost that. Kicking game, we had a very good kicking game.
You did.
The whole thing across, I was very proud of our kicking that we did. The next one is we got to make sure that we had fewest penalties. The next one is interceptions, turnovers, that we have to make sure we win the turnover margin, and we lost that. And so you go on, and these things that we've done, we just you can't do those things, and then you got to win the fourth quarter, and we didn't win the fourth quarter. There comes a point in a game when you got to go out and win a game. We didn't do that. So we got 1 of the 4. You got to need 3 of the 4 to win. 2 of the 2, you're battling to see what happens. And but that's kind of why it's called the plan to win. If you get those things on your side, you increase your chances tremendously to be successful.
It's a physical game. It's a game that sometimes brings very difficult moments. And one early on in that game was created when Anthony Gotti, who has done so much over the course of his career here to put himself in a position to have a great final season, goes down with a season-ending knee injury.
Yeah, knee surgery, and he'll probably have surgery in a couple weeks. He's tore his ACL. He had a lot of surgeries here.
Yeah.
I think he might have 3 or 4. I mean, this guy's just kept battling, kept coming back, and really feel for him, but his role changes now, and I told him that. The thing he's going to have to do is we're going to have to use his leadership abilities and help the team. So he's going to have things that he has to do to help us be successful, and but it's certainly very unfortunate. And Brad McNulty went in and played for him. Brad is the backup center, and he did a very good job at left guard, and those things happen.
That's Gary Pinkel. I'm Mike Kelly. Tiger Talk here from Buffalo Wild Wings. One more moment in this segment, though. Let's talk a little bit about Marcus Golden. He tweaked the hamstring, wasn't available on Saturday to play. Will he play this week?
I think he'll play. Hopefully he'll play. That just happened Wednesday. We're out of practice, and I'm watching it happen. We're on a kicking play. And he runs down, and all of a sudden he grabs his hamstring, and I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here, and what's the chances of that happening? So he tweaked his hamstring. Hamstrings are such, they're so sensitive that you got to be very, very careful in terms of how quick you get somebody back, because if you handle it wrong, then what happens is you actually pull a muscle, and you could be out 4 to 5 weeks if that happens. So we thought we might be able to get him back by Saturday. The medical staff and himself made a decision. Probably wasn't smart to go, and I agree with it. But I think we're going to get him back this week. Today he told me he was feeling a lot better, and that'd be nice certainly to have him back out there.
Meanwhile, Darius White will not play this week.
He has a very severe groin injury. We think that we had good news today from when he went and met with a couple of physicians here in town, and we think we're going to get him back in a few weeks. We thought it might have been season ending, but it's not, and that's great news. Morgan Stewart is making progress, and that's encouraging. I don't he's our tailback, our sophomore tailback, redshirt sophomore. Is a great kid, and it's encouraging that we might get him back here in a few weeks, and that's so the news is positive.
That's Gary Pinkel. I'm Mike Kelly. This is Tiger Talk from Buffalo Wild Wings. Bottom of the hour, we're going to visit with Bud Sasser and Darvin Ruise. More with the coach, though, up next on the Tiger Network from Learfield Sports.
Rolling to his left side, Mock with pressure, unloads it, seam pattern, over the shoulder catch, Jimmy Hunt behind a defender, to the house, touchdown Missouri.
Jimmy Hunt with a touchdown reception that pulled the Tigers even late in the first quarter on Saturday against Indiana. 7-7 was the score. IU goes on to win the game.
We appreciate that. How we're playing.
So we're looking forward to allowing you to hear from Bud Sasser coming up at the bottom of the hour. And you talked briefly about Andrew Baggett, but to see him step on the field with the game on the line and to put your team in front late with 2:20 to go with a 40-yard field goal that was absolutely perfect. That was so good to see for that young man. Yeah, it was really good. You know, last year, because today the press conference, we're playing South Carolina. We're South Carolina. They're asking me about Andrew Baggett and what's it like. It was great to see him. And I knew they were going to bring that up. About him hitting the goalpost. And the truth about the matter of when that happened last year, the whole football team embraced him. And guess what? He came back and he finished and he had a great year. And we remember the Cotton Bowl, right, Mike? He had 2 big kicks in the Cotton Bowl. And obviously that was a pressure-packed kick, and you can't take that away from him, man. That was a game-winning type kick that he had, and I'm really happy that he did that. And obviously that it'll be tremendously helpful for him from a confidence standpoint. How much do you think that what percentage do you think they blitzed on Saturday? It seemed to me it had to be somewhere around 75 or 80% of the time. I don't think they blitzed that much, but they did blitz quite a bit. And you can bring a 5th guy and define that as a blitz, too. Right. It depends. 4 is a normal rush. 5 is an extra guy. You still have 5 to block 5. 6, if you got your running back in, 6 to block 6. If you get a bigger blitz than that and you have no free safety, it's a little bit different there too. But certainly there was, they came after us pretty good, and I think a lot of times we did some real good things against it also. We had over 500 yards offense, and we just wish we needed to score more points. And field position was pretty long. We didn't have any turnovers, so we didn't get any short fields. But our kicking game really, I think, helped us keep the long fields for them also for the most part. Ran the ball 50 times for 241 yards, and Russell Hansbrough over 100 yards rushing again. Yeah, Russell did. He had that Henry Josie when he shot through and outran everybody. And I think we're doing okay in our running game. The thing we want to do is a little bit more efficient. We want less 1- and 2-yard gains and more 4-, 5-, 6-yard gains. And anybody out there saying, well, of course you do, Coach. Everybody does. But I just think we need to be a little more efficient that way. And try to get a little bit more. Hopefully get a little bit more out of each and every run that we have. Is that more getting guys blocking on the second level? Is that how you create that? I think it's blocking. I think it's Coach Jones Brian Jones does a great job. It's also the reads that when the running back gets the ball, with the blocks that he's reading and the way the defense is playing it, that he has a choice sometimes to cut it back. And our guys are quick, so sometimes they can cut back sideways. And when it works, it looks great. Right. When it doesn't, it's generally a 1-yard gain or 1-yard loss or none. So he has to also pick the right moments to cut back and also stay with the read. So it's a combination of all those things. And it's important because, when you run the ball on first down, you gain 4 yards, you got second and 6. Well, that's a lot different call than you got 2nd and 10. It just changes everything. So, everybody obviously wants to gain 4 yards or more on their rushes, but I just think we need to do a little bit more, but obviously we want some big plays also. Other thing that the players talked about today, too, is just from a defensive standpoint, getting back to the fundamentals when it comes to tackling. A lot of missed tackles in the game on Saturday. Yeah, a lot of missed tackles, and that's not wrapping up. And, we call it the tiger tackle. There's a fundamental way that you tackle. And I remember the guy that used to be when the Chicago Bears won the World Championship, and Bud, try to think of the defensive coach that they had there. Buddy Ryan. And they had the double eagle defense, and that was the defense that was really a great football team. And what he did, the reason I'm mentioning all this is because what he used to do, he used to post one stat after every game. When players come in on Monday after they played on Sunday, he had one stat up, and that was missed tackles. That's the only stat he had up there. He said, if you tackle well, we're going to be a great defensive football team. And that's something that, you have to do. You have to tackle because, a 2-yard gain becomes an 8-yard gain, or a 4-yard gain becomes a 9-yard gain. And there's also the fundamentals of making sure that you maintain your gap. When you're in there, that you have a gap responsibility, and we call it gap integrity, where you make sure you fill that gap up.
and then certainly leverage when the safeties come in and corners come in, that you leverage the football. And they call it primary contain and secondary contain and those type of things. And those are all fundamentals working together as a team. So there's things we can do to reduce big plays. We're playing some really good defense, but big plays kind of really overshadow some of that stuff.
It's Gary Pinkel. I'm Mike Kelly. This is Tiger Talk each week from Buffalo Wild Wings. We're going to take a break. More of the show after this on the Tiger Network from Learfield Sports.
Running left is Hansborough, turns it upfield, 35, 40, he may go. Midfield running to the offside. Russell Hansborough to the 20, to the 10, to the house. 67 yards, and Missouri is an extra point away from pulling even.
Tiger Talk continues here on the Tiger Network. MPix.com is proud to bring you the 2014 Mizzou Fan Photo Contest. You can email your favorite Mizzou fan photos to mpix@mutigers.com. That's mpix@mutigers.com. A chance to win 2015 Mizzou football season tickets. mpix.com is a proud sponsor of Mizzou football. Coming up in our next segment, we'll visit with Bud Sasser and also with Darvin Ruise. Coach Gary Pinkel is with us, and then we'll take a break for the players coming up in the next segment of the show. We talked a little bit about special teams early on, but you look at the job that Christian Brinzer did, punting the football, 42.6-yard average on Saturday. You always talk about punting the football in these terms. It's a play in which you change the field position.
Yeah, you flip the field. If you can flip the field. So if you got the ball, the offense gets the ball on the 20-yard line, let's say you get one first down, or let's say you gain 8 or 9 or 10 yards, regardless, if you can punt the ball back to the others, or you give them the ball and the other 20, then you create a long field. We do a statistical analysis of the percentage of time if you get the ball at the 50-yard line to go in and score 60 yards, 70 yards, 80, 90 yards. And the reason I do that to my players, they have to understand the kicking game is all about momentum. It's all about field position. And I thought for the most part our field position, our punt team and Christian Brinzer did a really, really good job of flipping that field back.
Marcus Murphy came close on a punt return to breaking it. You look at, from a kick return standpoint, teams are not kicking to him. So what adjustments do you try to make on the return team to try and get more productivity, if you will, if they're not going to kick to him?
If they kick it out of the end zone, we can choose to catch it 7 deep or 8 deep and run it with them.
But I'm talking when they're short coverage kicks.
The short coverage kicks, there's not...
Not a lot you can do, right?
Not much you can do. But the most important thing is to get good field position. What they did one time when the wind was up pretty good, they called with a squib kick. And a squib kick is when you hit like a line drive and it just kind of hits the turf. And you might think, you might be laughing thinking that the kicker missed the ball. And sometimes he does, but for the most part, that's a squib kick. And what you try to do is you try to get it so hard that the second line of fullback, so you got the line up front, and then 20 yards back of the 25-yard line, you have another line, then you have the kick return in the back of that. You want to make it so hot that the second line lets it go, but it's bobbling around in the grass, and by the time it buys time for everybody to get down there other than a kick. And what we try to do is we tell that second line, if you can do it, if you can handle it, take it. And we did that, and I think we ended up getting the ball to, I think, about the 28-yard line, 29-yard line. So it's still about field position, and obviously we want to get Murph in a position to catch that. The punt return, like you mentioned, we had the one punt return. He caught on the 20. I think we got the ball on the 46-yard line, almost across midfield. So that was, that's hugely important. And all those kicks that he catches on the 10-yard line, 12-yard line, 13, and any fair catches, those are important because if you let those go, they could roll back and they could down them on the 1 or 2. So a lot of little things, field position hidden in there, but our kicking game was very, very strong in that game.
Evan Boehm has been so consistent over the course of his 30 starts, but Saturday just was not a good day for him. He had at least, 6 to maybe 8 high snaps. That has an impact on your ability to run good offense.
Well, if you're playing quarterback and Matty's one of his best friends, I mean, that ball, you have to jump up and get the ball. You don't know where it's going to be. And, some people say, well, he had a nose guard on him. Well, he had nose guards on him last year all the time, and he didn't do it one time. And it's just, it's just like I said at the press conference today, if you're a golfer and you're struggling with your putter, and it's just not.
Which Jerry Doherty does quite a bit,
Jerry Doherty, a friend of mine, he does, and he's got like 7,000 putters. He blames the putter. The most important thing, though, is that unlike Jerry Doherty, my friend, what Evan will do is he'll take responsibility for it, okay? Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's just he's fine, okay? Yeah. Chill out, relax. You're great at what you do, and let's just get your confidence back. And he's got his teammates helping him do that. And then the one guy that never complains about it is Matty Mock. Matty won't say one word to him in a negative because he's part of the team, and we just get, teammate has some trouble. Just like Matty throws an interception, the defense comes out, and they miss a field goal. And so we got to work together as a team.
That's Gary Pinkel. I'm Mike Kelly. We're going to have some fun next segment because Darvin, Ruise, and Bud Sasser are up next as Tiger Talk continues on the Tiger Network from Learfield Sports.
Walk on third down. Takes the snap, looking left, throws it over the middle, cross from left to right. Sasser breaks the tackle, the 10, dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Missouri. To the house, dives Bud Sasser.
Tiger Talk continues here on the Tiger Network from Learfield Sports. I'm Mike Kelly. It's time now for our Players segment, brought to you by Farmland Foods. Mizzou would like to thank Farmland Foods for their continued support of Tiger Athletics. Farmland Foods, passion for pork since 1959. He is a senior wide receiver and co-captain. He's from Denton, Texas. He wears number 21, and his name is Bud Sasser, ladies and gentlemen. And to my left, reverse the numbers from 21, you get number 12, and that's the linebacker from Glen St. Mary, Florida, Mr. Darvin Ruise. You're not going to wave or acknowledge them? Or there we go. So how nervous are you right now to be up here? Because you hate to talk publicly.
No, I'm not nervous at all. I think this is something that I relish in, and I think that I do a pretty good job, so I'm good.
Yeah, no, you do a very good job, and we may get you to sing after a while. We'll see if that happens. You're being rather reluctant about that, but that's okay. Meanwhile, let's turn to the guy who had a heck of a day on Saturday, didn't he? 11 receptions, more than 100 yards. Bud Sasser, how are you tonight?
Unlike Darvin, my heart's up here pounding, and I have no idea why. I'm usually pretty comfortable in situations like this, but for some reason my heart's just up here pounding.
Is it harder to do this show or to do the quarterback club during the day?
I guess this show, because I'm actually in here every Thursday. If y'all come in here on a Thursday night, you'll see me right around 7 o'clock, and I guess because I'm never on this stage right here, I'm usually back there just eating some wings. So I guess I'm just a little indifferent about this right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're going to do quite fine, because you always do. The one thing I wanted to talk to both of you about is that you're both veteran guys. And one of the things that your head coach said afterwards, and not to be too redundant, but I just think it's worth mentioning, it's how you react to adversity that determines tells a lot about a group. So having said that, what's your message as a senior co-captain to your teammates as you try to respond to what took place against Indiana, but yet have your best week of preparation for South Carolina?
Just making sure you stay within the family, because really, a lot of guys can kind of get lost when you're winning, and everybody's telling you how good of a team you are, how good of a player you are, but it's really when you maybe get that first loss and you might be hearing some rough things from the fans or from the crowd or from other people, and that's when you really need to just bond together and make sure everybody stays tight and just really hold everybody accountable to getting their job done the whole next week.
It's Bud Sasser. Darvin Ruise is also with us, and he mentioned family, and it is times like these, coming off of a setback you didn't anticipate having, that you do have to lean on those family members, right?
Yeah, correct. Just piggybacking off of what Bud said, I think Coach Pinkel does a great job of just telling us, what we have here at Mizzou is special, and this family is a close-knit family, and the biggest thing about what we're doing here is you're going to have setbacks. Sometimes that's in life in general. You're going to have setbacks, but the biggest thing is how you react to that adversity. I think right now our focus is, not letting Indiana beat us twice. And with me saying that, I mean they won Saturday, unfortunately, but at the same time we can't linger on to that loss and let that carry over. We have a big game coming up Saturday that we have to be focused on.
Was that the ultimate statement in terms of underscoring how important it is each and every day in practice, every single play in the game, focus, attention to detail, being prepared for what's about ready to take place? Does that kind of bring it to the forefront when you go through something like that on Saturday?
Yeah, definitely, because maybe those things can kind of be overlooked if you're kind of winning by a lot, and you might not even be playing our best game. These past 3 or 4 games, we haven't played our best game, and unfortunately, this week, just didn't come out the way we wanted it to come out. But that kind of lets us know right there that we do have to step it up through this week of practice and make sure we're focusing more on the smaller details.
What does it mean to you to be selected as a co-captain by your teammates?
I'm honored, man. I'm blessed to be in this situation. I really do appreciate my teammates, Darvin right here, and everybody on our team, man. Just I love those guys to death. I'd do anything for them, and that's, I can't be even just more happier than what I am right now.
What is it that he embodies, Darvin Ruise, that makes him a natural leader?
Just going back to freshman year, Bud was actually my roommate when we came in as freshmen in 2010, and just seeing him progress in the love of the game that he has, and just seeing him being a leader, not only vocally, but he demonstrates what a leader is supposed to be on and off the field. So,
when he makes a play like he did against Toledo, after the interception, hustling down to strip the ball to give it back to your offense, what does that do for the rest of the team?
That shows you that he's no bigger than the team. That shows you that he embodies the team, that everything is about the team, because it's easy for an offensive guy to take a play off when you get an interception like that and to say, you know what, somebody else will tackle him. But to see a guy take that kind of effort at getting the ball back for his quarterback and for his offense, it lets you know a lot about him and his character on and off the field.
You guys are both seniors now. You have a handful of opportunities left before you as college football players. Is that bizarre when you think of it in those terms, that your career is quickly coming to a close?
I guess I'll answer it first. We really don't focus on it. I think Coach Pinkel does a great job of keeping us focused on one game at a time. And, unfortunately, our time is winding down here. But right now, all our focus is on South Carolina. That's it. Not on, we got 4 or 5 games left. Not only we got 9 games left, not going to a bowl game, but our focus is on South Carolina. So we don't think about, not being able to play here in a few months.
Let me flip the question, though, in these terms. Has it gone by quicker than you could have imagined?
Oh, it flew by. 5 years is gone just like that. And just having a lot of things on your schedule to take care of, and just making sure you're on time to everything that we have to do. And Coach Pinkel does a good job of that, with helping us out with time management. And just next thing you know, you just look up and you're about to be walking across the stage, and your parents are happy, your guardians are happy, who's ever there for you, and just next thing you know, you're just about to be a man out in the real world, just hoping that everything Coach Pinkel's taught you is about to lead you to some new heights.
Texas native Bud Sasser is with us, Florida native Darvin Ruise as well. Why Missouri? Let's go back those 5 years ago. You're a senior in high school in Denton, Texas. You had other opportunities, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. What was it about this program that connected with Bud Sasser?
It was really just the players when I got here. Kendra Jackson was my host, and I just came in with a bunch of different players at the time, and we really didn't, school had just let out, so it wasn't too much going on around campus or anything, but what I really enjoyed was that I had a good time, without it being, a huge crowd around. And if once that happened, I was like, okay, if I can enjoy myself with 5 people on this team, I really think I can enjoy myself when I get around 100 of the guys.
There are a lot of Texans on the team. When you arrived, there weren't a lot of Floridians. So what was it again that seemed right for you?
Well, I was promised I was playing quarterback when I got here, so that's the only reason I really came. But it didn't work out.
Because you're going to run option, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
From high school. It didn't work out, fortunately. But in all seriousness, I came simply based on the family atmosphere. My mom loved the place. We went to a lot of. Well, when I was 16, I went on a ride along with head of homicide in Jacksonville, in Florida, which is a Dennis, big guy at my school, and you had to come here and you had to be humbled. And you have to learn things. You have to go through some things, and I think in a big scheme of things, that's what kind of makes a man. That's what kind of makes a person, when you have to go through some things. And I went through some things here, but
team and as you analyze South Carolina, what are some of the things that come to mind?
Well, we remember the opening game on SEC Network was when they played Texas A&M
Right.
at their place.